This was my second home. So I thought I had figured it out. I planned the renovations and to use the equity, but for 6 months, I kept getting outbidded and watching deals fall apart. What kept me disciplined was one rule refused to break, and it taught me a lesson I'll never ignore, and that's to never give up and be resilient. Don't ever, ever start something and not finish it. Keep going, keep fighting, and use that as motivation for the next deal that may fall through. Use one L as a lesson, turn one L into a lesson, and use that as motivation to go even harder the next time. Early on in the process, like last year, I bought my first house. My first house was basically like an investment property, where when I bought it, I put a lot of money into the renovations, and I tapped into that equity after renovations because I was able to increase the value of the property because the previous real estate agent, sorry, the previous real estate agent I had, Henry, shout out to Henry, he was able to we was able to get the house at a bargain price to where I had like I think 30,000 already in equity in the property. So that was a steal already right there. So I was able to build even more equity by doing things like getting the trees cut down. I redid the whole front yard, but that's just the aesthetics on the outside. On the inside, um, doing the bathroom, redoing the bathroom upstairs, redoing the kitchen. I had did the flooring, redid the flooring throughout the whole house, repainting, changing fixtures, redoing the living room. Um, it was a lot. Some of the stuff I had did myself. Like a lot of people that knew me last year and see me early on in the process, they seen like me posting like every weekend, me dedicating a weekend to painting the whole room, doing the flooring for the whole room. Where I at the end of the process, I used to be like really sore, completely sore, but I already knew the end goal was by this time, well, not exactly by this time, but at some point of this year, buying a second property, tapping into that equity along with the funds I already have set aside to put it together to buy another property. Um, I'm not gonna lie, the process wasn't easy. Also, one thing I forgot, the roof. I did get the roof redone too. I got the top layer removed and replaced. And that also added equity too. There's a few things that add equity in the property that is like basically the most important thing that people or appraisers look at in appraising a property. But like I was saying, it wasn't an easy process, but I'm blessed and I'm happy with how the process ended up because just setting goals for myself, short-term goals, midterm goals, long-term goals for myself, and really just working every day, working towards these goals and seeing how I'm accomplishing them one at a time. It ain't no better feeling. Um, so yeah, bought the house, tapped into the equity, and like I said, used my funds, my money too, to combine with the equity to buy another property. Um, it's an amazing feeling. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I signed the paperwork at closing, I was so relieved because I was having a lot of doubts in my mind of, dang, am I really gonna accomplish one of my goals I set for myself this year, which was to lock in a property before the end of 2025. I was starting to think in my mind like, damn, I'm really not going to accomplish these goals. I'm really not, it was okay because I was already planning the next thing. Like, okay, readjust my timeline of my goals. But I'm happy and I'm blessed. It was a surreal moment to really lock in a second property, and shout out to my real estate agent too. He never gave up on me throughout the whole process. We done checked out probably, I'm not gonna lie to you, at least like 20 to 30 properties. Every other day we looking at a property. It's sending each other properties, like just looking at it. And throughout, it was like about 6 months of this whole process. At the beginning I was with my other real estate agent. We looked at a couple houses. Things didn't fall through with those houses. We got outbidded on those houses. Then with my new real estate agent, we bidded on a house. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, we ran into a house that had they accepted the offer, but we ran into issues when it came to the house needed underpinning. They said that the foundation was sinking on one side and it needed underpinning. So that was one big issue that we ran into with that house multiple times of get it outbidded on the property. I remember one time I was so upset because um we had just finished seeing a property that I had fell in love with. And I told him, hey, I want to be really, 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 actually this happened two times. I told him I wanted to be really, really, really aggressive with this, with a bid on this property. He got in contact with the agent. The agent said, well, the seller's already planning to go with the offer that they got. And I'm like, wow. Other times where, we submit an offer, we had to submit an offer by the next day because that was the deadline. And we was pretty aggressive with it too. And they ended up picking the other offer because of, I think the person was doing like a construction loan or something like that. The person planned on living in the property while the rehab was getting done. The house actually sold for I think like 230, and we offer like 235 on the property. But it is part of the game. Other times when um we I was contractually bonded to somebody for the to buy the property. It was an off market deal, and the lady, shoot, a few days before closing, the lady ended up pulling out of the deal. She didn't want to sell the property no more and everything, like, because we needed access to the house to let the appraiser appraise the house. For some reason, there was a lot of stalling going on their end, and come to find out, the lady just didn't have interest in selling the property anymore, unfortunately, and that kind of like also hurt too. Um, but I just also learned, like, this is part of real estate. Like, I started to doubt myself a lot of times when I'm just really doing the research, and I'm like, F it, man. I'm about to just go blow all this money, uh, buy stuff, go to the club, whatever, blow all this money, forget it. Like, I don't even care about this. A lot of times I used to say that, but I'm realistically, I wasn't going to do it. But, that's just the point where I was mentally, where I was ready to just say F it. But I wasn't going to say F it because um, I'm not a quitter. I've never been a quitter. When I start something, I got to finish this. Like, I can't lose. I can't fail. Even though this process was a lot of L's of getting outbidded, deals not deals falling apart and everything. um the win really did feel good after being mentally tested. And I want to say what kept me disciplined probably was um just a lot of research, and like me having a mentality of never giving up. When I start something, I gotta finish it, and I gotta figure out how to finish it. If option A don't work, I'm going to figure out option B. If option B don't work, C, D. Like, I'm gonna keep going till I figure it out, and that's just the type of person I am. Um, and then I also did research too, because they said, like, um, the reason why this real estate game is a really small business, like, it's not a lot of people in it, is because of the the how do I say this? It's um what's that word? Basically being resilient. And basically, a lot of people will quit after a certain amount of time. They quit. And the small percentage of people who don't quit, those are the people who end up to be successful and excel within this real estate game. And just looking at that, I was like, it makes sense, because at first I thought, man, am I the only one that's really going through all of this BS? The deals falling apart, like the outbidding. Am I really the only one? Like, I thought it was only me that was having these issues. But when I did research, a lot of people had these issues. A lot of people actually was searching for like a whole year. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that kind of make me feel a lot better that it's not only me having these issues. So I just kept that in my mind, in the back of my mind, that I'm going to get it. I'm gonna stay consistent with it. Keep trying, keep trying. And I did get it, and I'm grateful and I'm happy about it. You know, and one lesson I did learn is that it's important to really have patience in this real estate game, because if you don't have patience in this real estate game, it's basically not for you, to be honest, because the amount of mental things that was going through my mind, like the just that feeling of being hurt, losing out on a property, and just mentally effed up. Like I can't even describe that feeling, but you gotta bring yourself back out of that hole and be like, okay, let me pull my pants up and let's get right back to work. Let me roll my sleeves up again. Let's get right back to work. Using every single loss that I took as an extra addition of motivation to keep going harder on the next one, keep looking, keep driving to these places and looking even more in depth. And one thing I can say is the blessing of seeing all these places, I kind of like started building up of what, knowing what to look for in these properties, like foundational things or structural things, or like the water, or looking at the bills, the water bills, or looking at any types of leaks or molding, all different kinds of things. I'm starting to learn and know like what to look for in these properties. So I'm grateful for that lesson too. But yeah, that's one thing that I definitely did learn, is being patient in the game. And hopefully you guys can take that information and be just as successful as me, maybe even more successful. I'm only just trying to help out, to vent to people, let everybody know that the type of things that I'm going through. And yeah, so I know going forward though, with this property that I haven't that I locked in, my plan is to continue to be fully transparent with y'all throughout this whole process, like I have been, and really just showing y'all. I'm gonna come out with another video, the method I am using, because I did go the hard money lender route for this process. And I'm thinking about my exit strategy. So my plan right now is to renovate and rent out this property. But it just depends on how the numbers are, how much the renovations are, if I'm over budget, under budget, figuring that out at the end. That's going to determine whether I'm going to sell the property and just use that money to, reinvest it, or rent out the property, refinance, and do it that way. I haven't figured out my exit. That's my exit strategy. That's my plan, but I haven't figured out which strategy I'm gonna do yet. So I'm definitely gonna fill y'all in on that. But going forward, I am gonna show y'all the before and after and during renovations, running and showing y'all, talking to y'all about the problems that I do run into when it comes to the renovations. I've been really locked in on figuring out the concept that I want this house to be, like the coloring on the floors, like the accents, the little details, like the 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 color of the cabinets, the color of the kitchen countertops, the type of bathrooms I want, because this property is 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2,200 square foot, and we're gonna make it 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 4 full bathrooms, and in that fifth room is going to be kind of like a bonus room that you can either, the renter or the buyer will either be able to use that fifth room as a bonus room, where they'll open up the double doors and it'll be a bonus room, or they can use it as the master suite. So I got the layout for that. So really just looking at how I want things to look, the coloring, bring it up, bring it up to date and with everything. So I'm excited for this journey. And I'm really happy for all this love and the support that I have been getting through this process. And I'm excited to show y'all, keep y'all along, and bring y'all along through this journey. I've already talked to my real estate agent. In the next probably couple weeks, maybe after the new year, I'm going to start looking at the next property while these renovations are getting done, and start my house touring, because I'm on a roll. I kicked the door down, and they messed up. I can't cuss, but they messed up letting me in the door. I'm trying to tell you, they messed up letting me in the door, because now that I'm in the door, I'm gonna keep it going, and I'm gonna keep this thing rolling. So my goal is to shoot next year. I'm trying to buy another property within the next 2 months. That's the goal, 2 3 months. Hopefully I can achieve that. If not, it's all good, just move the goalpost. But I'm trying to keep it rolling, and I'm gonna start house touring again in the next couple weeks. So you know I'm excited to share with y'all this journey and this process. So hey, that's it for today. Like and subscribe, and thank y'all.